At 6 years old, everything suddenly changed. My mother abandoned me, and it was so painful to live without her. I remember the day my mom left me at her father's house, the same place she used to leave me when she went to the market because my mother was a businesswoman. I remember that time she promised me that she would come back for me because my mother knew what was happening every time she left me there. She knew that by the time she'll turn, she would find me with a couple bruises on my body caused by her young siblings or by her stepmother. She knew that when my grandfather was not at home, I would spend the whole day without eating as usual. So because my mother knew that her father's house was not a safe place for a young kid like me, she would finish what she was doing so she could come quickly to the rescue of me as soon as she could. But suddenly, this day was not the same. I remember that day waiting for her to come back for me. As I was waiting at my grandfather's house, I waited the whole day and night. She was supposed to pick me up the same day in that evening, but she didn't come back for me. The next day, I started to feel scared that my mom was not going to come back for me. I remember having a hard time staying peacefully without knowing if my mama was okay, feeling worried about my step-grandmother, about my mom's step-siblings, about getting beaten, and how I was about to lose my mother. I started to experience mixed feelings which I could not manage because I was too young. Then I started to cry. Worries rose up within me as a young kid who used to know nothing else but mom's love. This was a tough moment for me. This moment stuck deep in my brain and has been a hard moment for me to forget. The heaviness of fear, worry that I was about to lose my mother at that moment has left a mark in my existence today. My step-grandmother and my mom's young siblings were people who supposed to be my relative, but nothing about it felt like a family. It felt like I was just left behind in danger zone and forgotten. My mom, biological mother, my real grandmother had already passed away, but sometimes I wonder if she could have been alive, maybe things could have been different. My grandfather had remarried and had children. Those children became my mom's half siblings. To me, my mom's siblings are supposed to be my aunts, my uncles, people who could take care of me or make a space for me because I was the second youngest in their family at that time. At the end of the day, that was my grandfather's house too. But instead, they hated me on the behalf of my mom. I was punished by her family. That's why I was scared to stay with them because I knew I was not loved by her siblings. My step-grandmother hated my mother, and when my mom disappeared, it was like they took all hatred they hated for her and threw it all on me. They treated me like I was my mother. I was beaten, starved, forced to do hard work I could not handle. When I failed, they beat me up again and again. There was no one to defend me. I felt deep loneliness even before I could not understand what it was. My grandfather was usually out of farming or in the forest looking after cow. When he was at home, I felt safe. But as the day went by, later on, I started to see my grandfather being concerned by how his wife and his children were so aggressive to me. And then my grandfather started to protect me. If my grandfather was not around, I would experience loneliness because of my mother's half-siblings and my step-grandmother always made me feel terrified. They were always angry with me, even though I was just younger than all of them. Every time my grandfather wasn't home, they made me pay for the hate they hated my mother. I could not breathe. All their anger, all their bitterness, I started to carry all of it day by day. I was drawing in it. But one day, my grandfather started taking me with him. Everywhere he went, he started to go away from his house in order to avoid quarreling with his wife and children because of me. We could spend weeks in the forest looking after cow and then come back home for a short time. I remember my grandfather doing all he could just to keep me safe. He never left me alone again. Wherever he went, I went with him. He protected me. He loved me, and I loved him so much. I'm not a stranger.